up for Freeman.
What a catch!
That's insane. Or did he make the catch?
Oh, that may be one of the great throws ever made.
He did what?
Welcome back to Packers Derailed, brought to you by PackerProject.com. I'm your host, JJ Lahey, one of many out there, and I'm here with Jake Schyvinck, the one and only. He is the draft robot. You know him. You love him. He's my co-host. Jake, we're talking Packers tonight. It's going to be a grand old time, as it always is when you and I get together. Chat is bumping tonight. Love to see it. Love to see it. I got to ask you, Jake, is it exciting every Monday, or at different times throughout the year when we have different days of the week we're recording, to join the pre-show with no idea what we're going to talk about? Blank slate.
Honestly, yeah, a little bit. It is. There is some excitement to that for sure. No doubt about it.
Well, we're going to start with a listener question. If you guys don't know, if you don't have it memorized, here's the phone number. You can call us 231-714-4195. Leave us a voicemail, preferably on the shorter end, because all of us like to get really wordy. And when you get up into like the 2-3 minute long voicemails, it can sometimes be less easy to make like a nice, succinct podcast answer out of it. So we like the short ones. But we got a call here. This is from longtime listener Jay Skate. Here we go. I'll crank the volume up on this so you can hear it.
Hi. Whispers of a Madden throwdown challenge between JJ and Jake, which I'm excited about. And I wanted to extend my help to Jake. As a person who's battled many times with JJ and Madden, I have some tips, some ways to annoy him in Madden. I'm reaching out, letting him know I've got his back. Anyway, excited to see this go down. Out.
Jay Skate lives so very far out into the backwoods up north that he doesn't have much in the way of cell reception. So call quality, a little garbled. If you couldn't make out what he was saying, he wants to offer Jake tips on how to annoy me in Madden. And I can vouch, he's very annoying to play against. So this is it comes on the heels of us having a conversation last week about, do we want to try and play Madden against each other on the stream for the listeners to enjoy. Jake, you've had a week to sleep on it. How are you feeling about this?
I feel good. I don't know what system I'm going to be playing on, what Madden I'm going to have to probably buy to make this happen, because I think the last Madden I have is definitely from the teens. So excited to see what's going to take place. Maybe it's not Madden, maybe it's college football. I don't know, but that'll be an interesting one. It'd be good to have it on the schedule.
I think this is a conversation worth having on the pod here to hear what the fans actually want, because Jay Skate sent me a separate message because he was super geeked that we were doing Madden, and then when he listened a little bit later and heard us considering playing college football instead of Madden, he sent back another message, and he was like, I'm out. This is the worst thing I've ever heard. I'm not doing this. It's got to be Madden or nothing. If it's college football, you can take that and stick it where the sun don't shine, because I don't care about college football. So, listen, Jay Skate can feel however he's going to feel, but it did make me wonder, how's the rest of our audience going to feel? Like, we know they're Packer fans. Maybe they'd be disappointed to see us playing football that's not Packers. That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
And then Too Old for This says the Madden game can't be the Caleb cover. So I really agree with this. If the newest Madden, if they have like alternate versions that you can buy that don't have the Caleb cover, I'm down for doing the new version. If they don't, I'm out. It's got to be an older one. But again, maybe this is a deal breaker for some people. Like, do they need to see us playing with the current roster? Jake, how do you feel about this? I mean, it helps that we don't have a Madden game in common right now. One of us is going to have to buy, at least one of us is going to have to buy one game so that we can play together. Yeah. Possibly we both have to play. Dershel says, I want JJ and Jake to play GTA. Not really Packers related. I'm not saying no, because I do like GTA, but like, it's kind of a weird fit for a Packers podcast. You hop on and we're like, pulling off heists and holding up.
That's a very derailed thing to do, though. It's a very derailed.
It's not a Packers podcast thing, but
right.
It is a, yeah. Oh, Iowa Joe says Tecmo Super Bowl. I'm all about Tecmo. I love Tecmo.
Where are we going to get that?
It's a good question.
How are we going to make that happen? That might be a little trickier.
So you can play it on the Nintendo Switch. I do have a Switch.
Okay.
I have the Switch 1, which nowadays I would think since the Switch 2 is out, Switch 1 should be pretty cheap.
Sure. That's probably true.
Tool for this says NBA 2K27 will be so crazy with all the shakeup. Dirk will probably be on the Pistons. I'm a pretty darn casual basketball fan. I mean, you guys see my tweets about the Bucks. Like, obviously I follow them, but I'm pretty casual. I love the insanity of the NBA free agency and all that. It's so much fun to me. I'm glad the NFL isn't quite at that level. And honestly, NFL free agency gets a little crazy for my taste. But I really love the insanity of NBA. That's for sure. Twilfer said, I still haven't been run off the road yet by LaMelo Ball. So far, so good. Yeah, Tool for this was tweeting his disappointment and fear of having LaMelo Ball traded to the Timberwolves because he lives in Minnesota and he already has to deal with Jordan Addison and his crazy driving. So
we're all about the Wolves, so can't wait. Can't wait for that guard play.
Don't be throwing that "we" around. That's offensive.
But yeah,
I'm a good, honest American. Therefore, I root for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Sounds like a decent plan. Not going to be competitive for a while.
No, not so much like a decent team per se, but
yeah. So
I can sleep at night with a clean conscience knowing I'm not rooting for the Wolves. So
yeah.
Dershel is back. You guys.
Yes, he is.
How much did you miss Dershel? Because I missed Dershel. He said, I met Jalen Phillips on our honeymoon while snorkeling. Green Bay didn't send a contract offer. I told him as an owner, I'll make sure Ed Policy hears the disapproval.
Yeah.
He also says that's a pretty dope Orioles hat, JJ. Thank you. I'm very pleased with it. This is the Stringer Bell hat from the Orioles did a crossover with The Wire. So I was pretty excited to get this one. We got some weirdo, some new listener in the chat here. Jake Schyvinck. Seems like a nice guy. Daryl says Caleb Wilson getting by the Bulls was awesome. Howdy, Daryl. Welcome. Here we go. We have a Bears fan in the chat here. Ace Boogie 302 J5S. Next season, Bears 12-5, Lions 9-8, Vikings 8-9, Packers 6-11. Jake, for $1, which part of this do you find the hardest to believe? Which of those 4 records?
The Bears probably.
I agree. 12-5 for the Bears seems a little challenging.
Yeah.
I could believe a 10-win season for the Bears. I could believe that.
Yeah.
I think it's a little.
Yeah.
I think they should be pleased with a 10-win season for sure. They should be excited about that.
The most accurate part is the Vikings at 8-9. I think, where it's like if you built in their hot start and then they fade. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I did. On our last episode, you and I were projecting where we think each team is going to finish in the division, and I did pick the Packers to finish last in the division. You did. And I did get some upset listener messages for that, which is fine. I'm fine with that. But some points were raised that had me reconsidering. And so, Jake, I thought that it would be fun for us to do kind of a position draft. I want to do a draft, you and I, drafting training camp battles, right? We're going to draft the most interesting training camp battles and talk about positions on the roster that we think there is either a hefty amount of competition at that position or you think that it has a significant potential to derail the Packers season. And as I was preparing for this, I found myself saying, I think the Packers are in a little bit better shape than I had previously kind of given them some credit for. Which I spend all offseason thinking about the Packers. So the fact that I could think extra hard for a week and come to a new footing was a little surprising to me. One of the things that had me thinking, though, was this whole running back situation. Can we talk about Josh Jacobs for a second? We've talked about it a few times, but Bill Huber of Sports Illustrated did an article this week, kind of just a Q&A session, and he was sharing his thoughts on the Josh Jacobs situation. Oh, we got Bill coming in here with a $5 dono. Appreciate you, Bill. He says cornerback room is the biggest battle. Spoiler alert, I also had cornerback room very high. I can't.
Why are you spoiling your big board?
Draft,
Why are you spoiling your big board for the draft?
Since we haven't started it, I
doing?
can't tell you where it was because I don't want to tip my hand for Jake and give him a competitive advantage in drafting against me. But I agree, this is a very interesting position room. But on Josh Jacobs, though, Bill Huber was comparing the Josh Jacobs situation to the Ezekiel Elliott situation back in 2016. You remember that there were domestic violence allegations in that case, and charges were not filed due to, quote, conflicting and inconsistent information, which sounds very similar to how the Josh Jacobs situation is currently being spoken of. And I want to restate for the record, I've said it several times, my stance is that the Packers should do their due diligence here and make the best judgment that they can with the available information of if they think that the allegations against Josh Jacobs are credible, and if they think that that they are credible, they should part ways with him. Trade him to another team, whatever, right? Don't associate. Don't be an enabling platform for violence against women. All right? That's my stance. Football aside, football be darned, it doesn't matter. Right? That's my stance. Having said that, I'm not in charge of what the Packers decide is morally right or morally wrong to do. So, let's look from a football perspective, compare it to the Ezekiel Elliott situation. The charges were filed, or not charges, Zeke was arrested in July of 2016. And then charges were not filed, and the NFL did eventually suspend Ezekiel. When? Not until August of 2017. Let's say the same situation plays out with Josh Jacobs. All right? The NFL waits for the legal system to go through its rigmarole. It takes a while, and then the NFL ends up suspending him for half a season or more, whatever, for 2027. Guess what? At that point, you got $3 million dead cap on Josh Jacobs. And do you have a whole extra year and offseason to try and address the running back situation? So although I think that would be a morally wrong thing to do, to say, hey, we're just going to slow roll this and enjoy having a superstar running back for one more year just because that's better for our football team, and then, and then we'll move on from him a year from now. I think that'd be the wrong thing to do from a moral standpoint. But from a football standpoint, and just trying to understand what the Packers' vision here might be, the timeline would be beneficial to them from a salary cap standpoint, from a roster construction standpoint, from a football standpoint. You have your superstar running back for 2026, and then you move on from him at the end of the 2026 season. You got $3 million dead cap, and you roll forward with Marshawn Lloyd and somebody else that you get next year in free agency or via trade or in the draft. I think it's likely, Jake, that this is what the Packers are currently planning to do, regardless of whether you and I agree with the morality of that. And I think you and I are on the same page on that. I think this is what they are planning to do. And I think there's a high likelihood that the NFL is going to allow that timetable to pan out for him. Now, I think worst case scenario, if you're the Packers, is the NFL suspends him late in the year 2026, right? They suspend him in November, December, whatever. And so you're heading into the home stretch of the end of the regular season, heading into the playoffs without your running back. And when, not really any backup plans. And hopefully at that point, Marshawn Lloyd has still been healthy and has shown you that you got something in him.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be ideal. To get something out of Marshawn Lloyd. But yeah, I don't think Green Bay is going to be in position for that for Kawad Lacey, but it's a fun thought exercise. Him, Ahmad Hardy.
For the audio crowd, Jake is reading a comment from Tyler Dershel. It says, Kawad Lacey, come on down. For the folks at home, remind us of the Kawad Lacey situation. Jake.
Of the situation? What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, just you're saying, what? You're saying it's unlikely.
Yeah, I would think Hardy and Lacey are both gone by top 40 at the latest, probably. And so you're kind of. It doesn't mean it's a class that you should be disappointed in, but they'll definitely take advantage of it. I think when we're circled back here in 2027, talking about the draft. In the nation's capital. I think, yeah. From a moral standpoint, we know how football teams are gonna operate for the most part, and so, I don't think it's necessarily surprising. Doesn't mean it's not disappointing, in that sense, but yeah, I imagine that's what we're gonna see now. From Jacobs is he may end up, it may be like Zeke and he plays all year, or there's a suspension levied this year. Wouldn't rule that out necessarily, but yeah, we'll see.
Bill Huber gave his prediction. He thinks that Josh Jacobs on the first day of training camp is going to address the reporters with a prepared statement saying that he is totally innocent, is going to fight the charges, and that's going to be his only comment on the situation until the legal status has been resolved.
Yeah.
Pretty likely scenario that plays out. And Bill says, Bill's connected, right? He's got his sources. He says he still has absolutely no idea what went on with the situation at the house, with the phone call to 911 and all that. Said that nobody within the Packers or on the legal side are letting anything slip right now. I would certainly assume that there's folks at ESPN who know. I'm sure of that. That is always the case. But we'll see.
Yep.
We also had Omar. You guys know Omar, who, by the way, we're still praying for Omar. He had his surgery. Talked to him today. Things went really well. He's healing up. Still not feeling up to hang out with us here on the live stream yet, but hopefully soon he can rejoin us. But he did send in 2 questions for the stream. So we'll answer those and send him the clips so he can listen back later. First of all, debating if I want to save these for when we actually are talking about the training camp battles. I'm going to do this one here. He's asking about safety. Do you think Johnathan Baldwin makes the 53 at safety? With Bullard kind of being our dedicated nickel, isn't a fourth body needed in that room? And so when we do get to the safety conversation among the training camp battles, I do think it'll be interesting talking about the safeties in relation to each other, those guys who are kind of fighting for safety for. But one thing that I'm really wondering is Johnathan Baldwin actually fighting to be safety 4, or do you think he's fighting to convince the Packers to keep 5 safeties? Philosophical roster building question for you there.
Yeah, I think
the average number is 4.5. So, place your bets. Over or under the average.
Yeah, I think it's just a question of like with Baldwin, if the goal is to be a true safety, I think he has a better chance, right? Like if he's going to be a more hybrid player, I don't think that they're going to be like tripping over themselves to keep him. I think he needs to be more of a true safety, special teamer, right? Like all of that. I think he has to be a part, because if you look at, I mean, again, things could change. No guarantees how guys play. Obviously, Nixon can play nickel. Bullard's playing there. They talked about Cisse like he's going to play inside and out, or he at least can, right? And so you have now these mix of guys, and it's kind of like, okay, well, there's no way they view Baldwin as a corner, as a boundary corner or a field corner. And so if
you could make an argument that they think Bullard could play that.
Sure. I think if they view him as a big nickel, I think he's going to have to prove that he is more valuable than a lot of the corners that could move in there. I think he's only fighting a couple guys at the end of the roster to make it as a true safety. So if he can figure out like, okay, if I can big nickel in a pinch when we're in like the passing down stuff, like, and then, I can play safety full time, boom, done. I think he can. I think he has the path there. Don't think it's guaranteed though. So yeah, they ride that line. If they treat Bullard as like a, if we're saying on the roster he is a safety, not a corner. Yeah, that 4.5 number. It's just a question of like, do they feel like, okay, we need to have extra bodies elsewhere versus safety? What are we giving up if we keep him? Right? Opportunity costs. Do we need another linebacker? Do we need another player on the defensive line? Do we need another player on the offensive line? I think we would agree probably that they would need a player, in both of those areas rather than safety. But that's what's going to be fun about doing this potential little draft here. And I think it'll kind of maybe iron some of that out of like, all right, when the end of the roster comes down to it, like where are we looking? So.
Yes. I like it. Well, we will do our draft in just 1 minute here. There's one final thing that I wanted to touch on real quick, and this has kind of actually been this was published a little while ago, and I've just not gotten around to talking about it on the pod here. So Josh Jones, the less exciting Josh Jones, this would be the 2017 Packers second rounder Josh Jones. He is back with the Packers. He returned to the organization to participate in the NFL's Bill Walsh Diversity Coaching Fellowship. This was announced June 1st, I believe. During the off-season workouts, the OTAs, he got to coach alongside the defensive and special teams staff to gain coaching experience. So he did actually a dual fellowship, first with the Green Bay Packers and then with Miami Dolphins. So I thought that was kind of interesting. There have been several other guys who have come through this program before in recent years, who then the Packers went on to hire for full-time coaching roles, including Anthony Perkins, Miles White, and Corey Harkey. So Fun little reunion there for Josh Jones. I always enjoy seeing former players get into coaching. I like coaches who are former players. I think that's really interesting to me. I really value strongly the ability for these former player coaches to relate to their players and talk to them. And I think like we talked about on this pod when Dan Campbell brought in his first coaching staff in Detroit, how he had all these former player coaches that he was hiring, and it was notable at the time that he was doing that. Like you didn't there was such an intentionality behind the number of former player coaches that he brought in, and I liked that. I thought it had a high likelihood of panning out, and it sure did. So I like this. So we'll see. 12 that says Josh Jones and Josh Jackson were such letdowns. Jones just never had the right mentality. Could be a good coach though. Well, I mean, absolutely. All the time you see guys who were not great players who go on to be great coaches and still get benefit from their time playing to translate to coaching. So there you go. Congratulations to Josh Jones and good luck to you, sir. All right, so we are going to start our draft here. So if you're listening on the pod version right now, you have to check out the part 2 pod, which will drop in your feed. All right, here we go. We are drafting the position battles on this roster that we think have the highest likelihood of derailing the Packers season, or that we think are very interesting, heated battles in camp. Jake, would you prefer to pick first or second?
I'm fine. I'm fine going second.
It's not a snake draft.
Why is it not a snake draft?
Because it just never is. When we're drafting topics on a podcast, it doesn't make sense to do a snake draft. The question is just if you feel too much pressure going first. Like, would you rather have would you rather be able to take the one you want the most, or are you nervous about going first and would rather have the lesser pressure and get to
honestly, you could just roll the wheel if you'd rather do that. Really, since it's your topic, it's more of like trying to understand exactly what we're going for in this. But yeah, I'm good either way.
Here we go. We'll flip a coin. Call it, Jake. Heads or tails?
Heads.
Okay. It is tails. All right, so I'm going to go first then, and I'm going to take corner here. I think this is probably the position that we have the least clarity about, that has a massive potential for derailing the Packers season. The Packers last year ranked 32nd in the NFL in their ability to get opposing teams off the field. Opposing teams, and this was true whether the Packers were leading or trailing. The Packers ranked 32nd in their in allowing opponents time on the clock and plays on the field. They could not get off the field when it mattered the most. And obviously pass defense is such a huge thing here. And it's a twofold thing. It's pressure up front and it's coverage on the back end. And we knew all year long that the cornerback situation last year was horrendous. And that was even if their plan A had worked out, which was having a healthy Nate Hobbs out there with Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine. So this year, I think we have a lot less clarity about what that's going to look like. We knew a year ago that Nate Hobbs was the entrenched starter. He was coming in. He was going to be CB1, and then it was going to be Keyshawn and Carrington in some combination across from him. Honestly, like right now, CB1, as much as I hate it, is clearly Keyshawn Nixon. So then your question is, like, CB2, it's either Carrington Valentine or Brandon Cisse or Benjamin St-Juste. And I don't know who I would give the lead to at this point in the year. I do think that people have gone too far in acting like Valentine is unplayable. But his bad moments are catastrophically bad, and you can't sugarcoat that. The question that I have for you, Jake, about Carrington Valentine, do you think that he is a starter who's had some really bad stretches, or is he a backup who tricks you with starter flashes?
I think he's a backup. I don't. To be honest, I'm not sure if the Packers really have a true starter at quarter on this team.
I don't think they
maybe
do.
it's St-Juste, but yeah, that's the problem. But yeah,
I think if St-Juste won the training camp battle, I would probably be the most optimistic about that.
probably
Right?
yeah.
Because he's a guy who's been around. You've seen
Yep.
that he has some tools. I kind of feel like worst case scenario is that it's Carrington Valentine by default because neither Cisse nor St-Juste are up to the task. And, well, Valentine was here last year, so I guess we're going with seniority. I think that's worst case scenario.
Yeah, it is. I think again, it does feel like this unit, we knew it was a problem end of season, and kind of the solution is kind of a long-term one, which is not always ideal when you feel like you're in a window. So, yeah, I think it is the first overall pick makes a lot of sense.
Iowa Joe says if Carrington could tackle, he would be a starter. Just glancing at PFF's kind of advanced numbers and stats. They gave him a 40.2 overall tackling grade on the year. He had 10 total missed tackles, total of 21.3% missed tackles on the year. That's not a great rate. The big issue I have would be the passer rating when targeted for the entire DB room last year, or not DB, sorry, cornerback room last year. If I recall correctly, the best from a defensive standpoint passer rating when targeted was actually Carrington Valentine with still over 100. I think he was 103, and then you had like Keyshawn was like 140, and Hobbs was 143. It was something like that, right? I can't even off the top of my head remember what's the perfect passer rating? 148.3,
158.3.
158.3. So like we're basically allowing, as a room, we're allowing basically a perfect passer rating when you're targeting anybody in our cornerback room last year. And mind you, it's not like there were depth guys on the roster who were doing a better job. There weren't depth guys on the roster getting snaps. We basically just played 3 corners all year long. And when I say we played 3 corners, I don't mean at the same time. I mean, we played just 2 guys ever, except sometimes we would bench Carrington for Hobbs. And then when that wasn't working, we would re-bench Hobbs for Carrington. That's what we did all year long. Just 2 corners all year. So
it was a revolving door of revolving doors. Revolving doorception. If I may.
I hate how perfect that is.
If I may.
How did you come up with that? That's brilliant.
I don't know. Not sure.
Some years that describes offensive line issues as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully not this year.
Yeah. We hope not.
I mean, last year was a bad plan on paper, and then and the Packers just kept saying, just trust us. And at no point throughout the year were they proven right with their cornerback strategy last year. I wouldn't say I feel a lot better about the cornerback strategy going into this year. Okay, you got Brandon Cisse. Jake doesn't like Cisse at all. I don't really love the idea of playing Cisse as a true freshman here in the NFL. I think that he has kind of a ways to go in development. So, what, we're just running it back with Carrington and Keyshawn, but maybe Benjamin St-Juste is going to, mix in there as just the new Nate Hobbs?
Yeah.
Okay. It was an F last year.
Yeah, it was.
Do we what's the best that this plan could get us this year? Upgrade us from an F to a what?
Couple turnovers. Could be fun.
Give me the best letter grade that this cornerback room could upgrade to this year.
C minus.
Okay, so we're hoping, if all the stars align, that we get a C minus out of this cornerback room this year.
For sure. We'll be going back to the well, people. Get ready to learn corners in the 2027 NFL draft as well.
We desperately need to trade for a corner. We really do. We have to trade for a corner. If the Packers have any seriousness at all about trying to make the playoffs this year, go trade for a freaking corner. Non-negotiable. If you don't trade for a corner, you are not serious about trying to make the playoffs this year. And yes, I said make the playoffs, not go win a Super Bowl. If you are serious about trying to make the playoffs, go trade for a corner. This is a worse cornerback room on paper than you had last year when you backdoored into the playoffs as a 7th seed, despite your best efforts on a 5-game losing streak.
Yep.
And you got worse at corner. The only way you didn't get worse would be just the number of corners, because last year was an atrocious number. We had 4 total corners on the roster, and now we have 7. So, okay, it's from a numbers standpoint, sure, it's better. If you're playing the lottery and hoping that one of these guys happens to get really good. Dershel says Denzel Ward. I know Denzel Ward hasn't been great lately, and he's really overpaid, but he would easily be CB1 on this roster. That's undeniable.
Oh, no question.
Frankly, freaking Nate Hobbs might still be CB1.
Better think about it quick, because there's some talk of the Lions going to get him. But remember, Easton said when we had him on that they were looking at another position to maybe make a trade. And to me, we were talking about Deonte Banks might be that player. That's kind of the young, a upside swing type of Malik Willis. Hey, maybe this corner can do something like that for us. But otherwise, I would just get ready to learn Chris Peel, people. Okay, get ready to learn a little Chris Peel from Syracuse. Okay.
Get ready to learn some more elite prospects that we're going to find in October who end up going way before the Packers are on the clock.
Put them on the list of guys who probably will, but we're going to bring them up now. So we can call the ascension early here. We were talking about this guy a little bit last year, right? Was he going to declare or not? Jair Hill from Michigan could be an option. See if he takes maybe another little leap here. As a senior, really his only 3rd year playing, so there are going to be some dudes. Don't fall in love with Leonard Moore, no chance. Be reasonable here. Jamari Sharp, Indiana, guy with the game-winning interception in the national championship. Somebody to monitor, I think. But yeah, I think this corner room is just it's a mess, man.
I do like me some Jamari Sharp. I've never been a Jair Hill guy.
Jamari Sharp looks low-key kind of nice.
I do agree that Jair Hill is very Packery, but I don't tend to like that type of cornerback.
No. No. See, the one time it wasn't a Packery corner, and they were like, let's jump a little bit outside what we're doing here. They took Jair, so...
So is the common denominator that he's a little bit outside their type, or is it that his name is Jair?
Oh, for Alexander, it was outside their type, But
I'm just saying, here you could get another Jair who
You
is
could.
their type.
you could. Not terrible idea. But yeah, I would
idea.
get ready to learn Chris Peel and Jamari Sharp people. So yeah.
All right, well, Jake, you're
So
up next.
what am I drafting here exactly? Honestly, I've forgotten. Since we've berated the cornerback room for about 10 to 12 minutes, I honestly forgot what we were drafting.
All right, here's the simplest way I can put it. This is the most interesting Packers training camp battles.
Oh,
But as you're deciding most interesting, I think that you should give a lot of weight to how much this roster question can derail the Packers season. So, for example, if you just find, linebacker 3 super interesting because the guy's involved, how much is that going to actually affect the Packers season? Like, it should be on the list, but lower.
Yeah, I know where I'm going.
Okay.
I
know where you're going as well.
We're going to take our talents. We're going to take our talents over to right guard, people. That's where we're going. This is the battle, right? Banks is going to play left guard. We don't like it, but we have to accept it, unfortunately.
We don't like it, but we're going to take it.
Yeah, we got to accept
year
it. And so what that leaves us is, Anthony Belton. What's going to happen? What's going to happen in year 2, bud? Year
he
one
took
was
some snaps at right tackle.
Year one was interesting.
Spring.
Year one was interesting, to say the least. So, I'm interested to see if he is somebody who can play within his balance and has enough, range, radius to kind of move around and do a lot of things and not just be kind of a hammer going up vertical up the field. And so if that is the case, if he takes the leap, that's going to be very helpful. Or if our 5th round draft choice, Jaeger Burton, can maybe help save this offensive line. That could
listen.
It felt like a
You have to
sinking
be
ship last
responsible.
year, and we didn't sink completely, but this year there's a chance that they could sink, and that's where I think everybody's going to be looking on the offensive side of the ball. I know, I know tight end is something that people want to talk about, but I think when Kraft is back, that's kind of going to be figured out. Like, I don't know if anybody's going to challenge Musgrave to be where I'm like, oh yeah, this is like different. It's kind of mostly the same. RJ Maryland's not really a tight end. We kind of said that. We were talking about UDFAs, and so yeah, I mean, really, it comes down to on the offensive side of the ball. We talk about how O-line's going to make or break this season, and it's going to start at right guard, with those two guys presumably going to battle.
Jake, I just realized I missed a dono from Dershel. Dershel, you still in chat here? We got a $10 dono from Dershel. Yeah, his comments posted. $10. He I guess he's giving us $5 each toward GTA 6, so that we can't say no. That's what he says.
Oh, I thought he was going to say Cisse jersey fundraiser. That's why I put that back up on the screen.
I think that we're too deep into the offseason to get Dershel to donate for football reasons, but for video game reasons, he will dig deep.
Sure.
I did want to say, Jake, we have to be responsible as Packers podcasters here, and I know responsible is not usually the name of our game, but although Jaeger Burton is undeniably the cooler way to say his name, he says Jagger Burton.
I'm just going to call him JB.
That's fine.
That's going to be it.
We can't mislead our audience because they look to us to spit white hot truth. And if we can't be truthful about how he says his own name, why should they believe anything we're going to say? JB is good.
It's more. It's not even like.
It could be Jason Bourne. It could be James Bond. It could be Jack Bauer.
Let's.
Too bad Ethan Hunt wasn't Jethan Hunt. That would have been cool.
Yes, I agree. Listen,
people
this is
say.
really what it comes down to this. I can't believe Joe hasn't put this in the comments that the lemon is so sour on the draft class that he doesn't even know everybody's name. Now I'm doing the work for me, and I'm doing the work for Joe in the comments as well. So
let nobody ever accuse Jake of being lazy, because he will do two people's jobs at once on this pod.
I will do a mock draft while JJ's going through the mock draft. We know this.
That is true. That's just because you don't.
JJ, here's a fun question. Do you think I did have done one during the show tonight or not?
Tonight?
Yeah. Do you think I've done one?
You looked really distracted earlier, so I'd say 60% chance yes you did.
Oh, I have for sure.
Okay.
For sure. We were talking about the quarters, so I was trying to figure out where Sharp was on the PFN big board.
That was when you looked like you were really tuning out.
Yeah. I was looking for Sharp on the board there when we were talking about corner. I was like, where are we at? Where can we look? So
I
just
was
trying to get a
very
gauge
sure
of where everybody was at.
I was very sure that where you were going to go with this pick was the offensive line. I knew that, and I thought that after cornerback, it really was the right place to go. I did think it was a little bit interesting that you went with the obvious battle of right guard.
Listen, not going to get fired hiring IBM. Okay, just not going to get fired that way. You know.
I thought there was a chance you might go to center, because I know that you're not totally sold on Sean Ryan as a center.
Yeah.
And it was like good, not great last year. I would say Sean Ryan was not as good as we were hoping Elgton Jenkins was going to be, but he was better than Elgton Jenkins actually was at center. So I think that in the moment, there was a little bit of, oh, phew, we're saved, right? Like center had been so bad, and then all of a sudden we just didn't have to worry about it anymore. That I do think that we overreacted in the positive way in favor of Sean Ryan. And look, I'm not begrudging him his payday. I'm happy for him. I think he earned it, but I don't know that he's earned my trust as like he should be the entrenched center, and that it's inconceivable for us to try and upgrade from him. And so if Jagger Burton is ready to go this year, and there are some reasons to think that he might be. I mean, he got a lot of snaps in minicamp and OTAs. I'm curious to see what training camp looks like. I think that he is given a lot of signs that he's going to be ready to play early. So my question is, could he be ready to play early at center? And that doesn't really help us at guard, because I don't really want Sean Ryan at right guard. Like, frankly, that's kind of probably sending Sean Ryan to the bench. But if we have another option here in the mix to unseat either Aaron Banks or Anthony Belton, I think that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. No, it's true. I think that is entirely possible. And we've got, everyone's favorite. Have you heard the story of the underdog?
What are you referring to?
With our fella from Duke. Our fella from Duke who's, waiting in the wings at
Brian
center.
Parker?
No.
Oh, no. Jacob Monk?
Yes, of course.
No, Jacob Monk is not an offensive lineman. He's a fry cook.
Heard a story of the underdog? No? Okay.
Except that he went to Duke, so he's not a fry cook. He's gonna be a politician. I don't know what are some lawyer, like what are some really common
I want to find out what he studied.
Occupations.
I'm going to find out what he studied.
Jacob Monk, major. He studied. He had a double major, African American Studies and poli-sci. I called it. Politician.
Nailed it. Wow. Could be seeing him.
He's either going to be a politician
in the
or he's going to study African Americans. All right.
Sommelier.
Either way, he's
That
not
could be
going to
fun.
be playing NFL footballs for the Packers. Didn't know what word you said when you said this.
What, sommelier?
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yep, I'm not
that's
going
what
to
it
try
is.
it. I know
just
what the
went
job is. I've never said
Yep.
the word out loud before.
2
so
M's.
I don't know.
Too old for this 2 M's.
Ah, here it
Good
is.
sir.
Sommelier.
Sommelier.
All right. I almost just sent
That could be
comment
fun,
to-
honestly. Would do that. If, CB of the south of France down the line.
I did. So I have been to south of France. We kind of toured all over, and we spent some time in Beaune. And there are, I think it was in Beaune, there are these underground caves that are just full of wine. It's like miles upon miles of these underground wine caves. And we went through these for hours. And they were like, here's, 3,000 varieties of wine that you can sample throughout all these caves. It's just how far can you walk? Actually, I have. Hold on a second.
Oh.
I have something here.
He's got cave wine.
I wish I had cave wine for this podcast.
Dang.
Talking about our offensive line certainly
Okay.
gets me needing some cave wine. Okay, can you see this? This is the little sampling dish that they gave us. All right.
That looks like something you would put a single egg in.
No, you put wine in it, and then it aerates it. And
You do have to let it breathe, as I've heard. I don't usually do that,
especially when you're down in a cave and there's not a lot of air down there. You really need to let it breathe.
True.
Hopefully it says, I want to visit the catacombs. I think that with your hair situation, you shouldn't be talking about combs.
Whoa.
Just saying.
Whoa.
I'm just saying. So, how far down this list, Jake, would you have drafted center?
I was thinking about it with my next pick. I thought about it for sure.
I think this isn't where I would have drafted center. I think it is the right spot for guard.
Just playing defense against the board here.
But I really would have said like both guard spots here, like back to back, I think. Because I just don't have any confidence in Aaron Banks even when
Who's the challenger though is the problem. Is it Burt
Brian
as
Gutekunst
well?
himself. No, Brian Gutekunst.
Oh man. No, that's true.
This would be the spot for me.
Are you,
where I would
are you
actually
taking
go-
center with the third overall
No.
pick or no?
No, and we can take center at some point, but we've kind of already talked about it. Is the thing, like right? Like we talked about it here when we were talking about right guard.
Yep.
So we can take it at some point and just say, and here's where I'm
All right.
drafting center.
Okay.
This is
Well,
actually
you're
the
on the
spot
clock.
where
You might get Ticed here.
I'm taking edge 2 here.
Okay.
And like you could nitpick and say like, oh, it's technically edge 3 because of Micah Parsons. Whatever, man. Micah's like hopefully gonna be back by November.
I agree.
right?
Yeah, I agree. It should be edge 3, not
Edge
edge 2.
1.
Edge 2 is a reach, big reach. Here at third overall, but it's okay. Oh man.
We have to survive 2-3 months plus without Micah.
Yeah, we play the Jets
Right?
and the Falcons. Not worried about it.
This Matt LaFleur team,
Oh,
which
man.
turns into a pumpkin starting in December.
We're just gonna pumpkin a little earlier. We want, we're planning.
No, we're gonna blumpkin early.
We are notoriously late to the Halloween party. This year we're gonna be early. We're gonna be fashionably early to the Halloween party and turn into a pumpkin early. That's the move, I think, this year.
I would
Get hot
I'm
late during
fine.
Toyotathon. Get hot late.
I'm fine with having a crummy start to the year and finishing strong. Like, I'm fine with that because I'm tired of finishing this. I'm I don't need to be happy in August. I don't need to be happy in September. I don't really need to be happy in October.
Until week 5.
I need to be happy in November. I really need to be happy in December. Really,
sure.
really, really need to be happy in
Need
December.
to be rounding into form for that Bills game. Run them out of the building. Send them home. Send them packing like the
So
fake
annoyed with the
contenders they are. And
so fake.
that'll be good.
It's disgusting.
And that would be
It's
really
disgusting.
good. So
These
would
are
love
You're
that.
just sucking up to me at this point.
I think they're going to when that game goes down, but yeah. Allen's gonna have to put on like the Michael Vick Monday night Washington game that he did all those years ago. Or Allen against the Rams, I guess, when they won by 44-42 or whatever. He's gonna have to do that basically.
It's like all their good games have been that, though, right? Like
Well,
the rest of the team just almost never comes to play.
They've run it well. They've run it very well.
Now, like after years of not having any run game, they finally,
For the past
at
couple
the cost
2.5
of
seasons
throwing
or
away
so.
the rest of the year of the team, now they finally have a run game. Congrats! You don't have anything else. You don't have a defense. You don't have anybody to catch the ball. But you can run it, and you have a quarterback.
I'm excited. I brought a question for JJ that he doesn't know about. I'm excited to do that when our draft finishes.
How
here.
long do I have to wait for that?
Well, we got to finish our draft first. So
Okay. Well, all right. So I'm still talking about edge here. My
Yes.
question to you, Jake, who do you think is going to be edge 2 opposite LVN? I'll tell you my answer. If we had to play a game tomorrow, my answer would be Brenton Cox.
yes, 100%, 100%. Once you said play tomorrow, that's the easy answer. Unfortunately,
I think the more interesting answer or more interesting question would be if you put a time frame on it and you said, who's going to be your edge 2
in 100 days.
week 4 of September.
Yeah, 100 days or so, 90 some days. Yeah,
So at that point, my answer is probably Baron Sorrell. What's
hopefully, hopefully Sorrell. If not Sorrell,
If it's not Sorrell,
maybe should have picked an
it's-
edge at 52.
you know how disgusted Jake is going to be if we have DDS and Cisse both as starters on this defense in October.
It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. They're going to break that out for week 5. Lose to the Bears. I'm going to be standing around going, I mean, what do you want me to say?
I kind of think that it wouldn't even matter if they were really good. I think he'd still be disgusted just at the fact that it happened. I think even if they were like crazy good,
frown because it happened. Frown because it happened for sure.
He'd be doing the Rob Lowe. He's got the hat that just says Packers, but he's like watching like this.
Oh, wait.
I'm talking about the Rob Lowe when he's got the NFL hat.
I
You can tell he has no interest in actually being there at the game, but he's got to hang out with Goodell.
Oh man, let me see if I can find this really fast. But keep going on the edge 2 discussion. I'm gonna find it. But I need a moment.
Well, what I'm actually gonna do, look, this is the meme I'm talking about. This is the one. I think this is
That's
so
a good
funny.
one. That is a good one.
This is it's the Packers 49ers NFC Championship game as well. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, no, this is me most Super Bowls, right? Like they usually manage to get a Super Bowl matchup that just kind of makes me miserable, and so I'm just rooting for. Actually, that's not true. Not the Super Bowl. The NFC Championship game.
hates the
Usually,
Super
I'm
Bowl.
rooting for.
Oh.
NFC Championship game is usually when I'm rooting for a sinkhole to open up.
Sure. Man.
Did you find your thing?
I'm looking. I'm almost there. I'm almost there.
I think that the most
Specific moment in
interesting.
time that I must.
I think the most interesting candidate is not Colin Oliver. I do think it is DDS. If he's just figured it out mentally and he's like really just ready, I think from a physical standpoint, he's a much more interesting high upside option than Baron Sorrell, and certainly than Colin Oliver or Brenton Cox.
Yeah.
He found it. He found it, boys
Okay.
and girls.
So this is what Rory won the Grand Slam last year. This is last April, 2025. Notice the dude over here on the right. Everyone is freaking out, having a great time. Here's this guy. Like, I can't believe this. This is so annoying. I don't want to be here. Type of reaction right there. So that might be me.
Can you
That might be
screenshot
me.
that?
Yeah, of course. I got you. Let me make sure.
I really kind of want to Photoshop that guy, but like with your
sure.
face. I want to put your face on that guy.
I've got you. I will send you that. And make sure it's all nice and cropped here for you to use.
Tolfa says, Packers Total Access was gifted a custom phonetically spelled Brenton Cox Jr. jersey. That is funny. That is funny.
No,
Says
this is
Rory
a
Gilmore is better than Rory McIlroy.
what? This is a
Don't
terrible
anger.
take. This is a terrible
Listen,
take.
Don't get him started on
Terrible.
lacrosse.
Such a
Whatever sport this is.
Whatever sport, what is? Rory Gilmore? I don't know if she played any sports. I would have to go back and rewatch to find out. I don't know.
Is this like a tennis rivalry? These two Rorys?
No. I fear not. I fear that's not what it is at all.
Are you gonna
I
draft
can't
your
tell.
next battle?
Yeah, I'm gonna take center. We talked about it. Easy. Don't have to don't have to think too much about it. I think it's something that we still have to take seriously. Because we already have. We've discussed it.
So I'll go D-line after this, and I think that like your top 2, even 3 guys are kind of set. And after that, I'm really curious to see who else works into the rotation. Omer asked us what's going on with Jordon Riley. Do we think that he has any ability to help the team this year? Any news on his injuries? So here's the thing with Riley. He had an Achilles. He tore his Achilles in Week 17 versus the Ravens. That atrocious game you may remember. This is usually for a guy his size. You're looking at a 9 to 12 month recovery, usually, to get back on the field. And then you're probably looking significantly longer than that for him to kind of round back into form mid-season. Now, having said that, some indications that he might be significantly ahead of schedule because he was participating in actual practices at minicamp and OTAs. That's not what you would expect at this point in his rehab. So I would think, he is under contract with the Packers still, and like they don't really need contribution from him early on. But I would think that you would only need to get 1 or maybe 2 injuries in to start seeing Jordon Riley again. I didn't think he played particularly well last year, but for what we were expecting out of him, he was a really nice pinch hitter to have. I think as your 3rd or 4th D tackle, who might have to come in and play meaningful reps if somebody gets abducted by aliens, he's a really nice thing to have around. Wouldn't expect him out there at all when this defense is fully healthy. I think it's going to be mostly Devontae Wyatt, Javon Hargrave, Chris McClellan. And then I still think that Warren Brinson and Nazir Stackhouse are going to be in the rotation here. Like, look, people really like these guys a year ago. And then, like, shocker, rookie D tackles are not really up to it in the NFL. It's a steep learning curve, and it's
hard to be as good as Walter Nolan was.
My guy.
In the 6 games that he played.
It's a huge leap to go from high school to college along the defensive tackle line. Yeah. It's as big of a leap to go from college to the NFL at defensive tackle. I think it's the hardest spot to make that leap really quickly, because unlike any of the quarterback, safety, whatever, the center, the positions where being super smart is a huge advantage and there's a lot of like mental catch up. At D tackle, it's like mostly physical, and it's really hard to shortcut that. Like, there's just an amount of being in an NFL weight room and being on their nutrition program and going up against NFL offensive linemen that you just have to go through to get ready to go out there and play big boy snaps on the defensive line. And there's Walter Nolan was an older prospect. Some of these older prospects can make the transition a little quicker. We'll probably start seeing that a little bit more now in the NIL era. But you get Nazir Stackhouse and Warren Brinson needing a year or two to be playable. Not that surprising. Jake said, different Jake, not Jake the co-host. Jake, non-co-host, says can't write guys off when they're young after a year or two. Absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Nolan felt like an older prospect. He's actually 22 right now, believe it or not.
Was the Oregon kid, was it Jordan?
I think he was. I think Harmon was young too.
Derek Harmon.
He's 22 as well. Fisk was older. Good example of a guy, good pass rusher,
right.
comes in the league right away
He
and
was.
makes hay as a pass rusher at the very least, defensive tackle.
Also, Walter Nolan is kind of an old man name. That's not a young man name.
That is true. That is true.
I think you got to age him a full year because of his name, right?
Probably. At least one, maybe two.
It gave him a benefit for sure. That's why he was so good.
It's true, yeah. Okay, so you took defensive tackle. All right.
I did,
I'm
but
I'm going to have a fun training camp battle here. Ready?
Well,
Okay.
I'll just say, though, I was specifically taking 3 tech, not nose tackle.
Gotcha. Okay, so specifically 3 tech goes 5th overall. 6th overall here, it's going to be Marshawn Lloyd versus the Blue Tent training camp. A big one, a big battle here that we got to find out who's going to come out on top. The Blue Tent has dominated this matchup for 2 seasons. We're going to have to see what happens. This go around. Heard that he's been working with some folks that were working with Christian Watson a couple years ago, right? And so hopefully that can kind of help him out. But we saw him leave mini camp at one point as well, not make it through that. So there is of course, on the Green Bay Packers, in their front office, there is a little chalkboard that says days since Marshawn Lloyd was hurt, and that number has not been very high.
So mean.
I think it's time for a strike back. Hopefully, Marshawn Lloyd's like the Empire and can strike back against the Blue Tent during training camp. But that's going to be an interesting battle. This one, so.
Iowa Joe says, nuh-uh, Lloyd versus the Blue Tent isn't even a matchup. You got to play in a game to be able to see the Blue Tent. Listen, I'm excited for when we cross that threshold at which Marshawn Lloyd has more carries than career injuries. More career carries than career injuries. That will be an exciting milestone. And we should hopefully get there by the middle of this season.
Yep. I'm feeling really comfortable about what I'm about to do at 8th overall. I really hope you don't snipe me here, because 8th overall is gonna be a great spot for this one.
Can I ask you a question on this though?
Sure.
All seriousness aside.
All seriousness aside, we're getting derailed on here.
You caught me. It's Packers derailed, of course. All seriousness aside.
Yes, fantastic.
Okay. Middle of the season, RB2. Let's say it's October. It's the second week in October.
We already know my
RB2. Rank in order. Which of these 3 guys you think are the most likely to be RB2 at this point? Okay. Marshawn Lloyd.
Middle of October.
Chris Brooks. Emmanuel Wilson. You may recall, not currently on the Packers roster.
Of
those 3 guys,
that's funny.
second week in October, rank the order of likelihood that those three guys are RB2.
I know what you want me to do here, and I really am tempted to do it.
You should. You should.
I'm really tempted to put Lloyd third, behind the guy on the Seahawks currently.
Yeah.
But I can't do that. Seattle's running back thing is going to be fascinating. They currently have Velus Jones Jr. listed on a depth chart at running back, which is, kind of funny. But Charbonnet injured.
189 pounds.
Yeah. Charbonnet injured. Obviously, Price, they took him to the first. Good stuff. George Holani, and then obviously Emmanuel Wilson, right? So,
he's up to 204 now.
Well, little Cordero Patterson action, which it's apropos. So I think they just like Chris Brooks as a pass protector. He's just probably the RB2. I'm really surprised he didn't throw my favorite candidate to be RB2, Damian Martinez, on this list.
Yeah.
But I think Lloyd will be second.
I wanted you to. Lloyd
I think Lloyd will be second in likelihood, just because, again, are we going to see him on the field enough? And then Emmanuel Wilson third. I think they've got something up their sleeve in terms of adding to the room when final cuts go through. When people are trying to put guys on the practice squad, I think they're going to make something happen there, would be my guess.
It's going to be Emmanuel Wilson, man. I'm telling you.
Boy, if they cut Emmanuel Wilson, I feel like he might need to be their best runner early on. Even though Price is a good navigator through traffic, I still think NFL's different speed, man. Don't drop your eyes. Got to be patient, but also decisive. Like, there's just so much that goes into it.
So I think there's only three positions left that I think are that interesting. And I have two. I think I just have two that I'm really debating between. I'm going to go with kicker here.
No, I had a great bit for this. Dang it. I had a great bit for this. That's so unfortunate. Dang it.
No, want me to do something else? I can do something else.
No, you're good. Go ahead. That's a shame.
I don't want to ruin your bit.
Really hoping you were going to take kicker there. Was really hoping.
I can do my other
That's
position.
Okay. No, you're good. You got it.
Oh, man. Now I feel like a heel.
You're good. You got it.
I'm so sorry.
You got it. I did not think he was going to do that. I thought it was going to be on the back of his mind and not at the front, because there is a position that obviously makes a lot of sense. Dang it. Oh, well. All right, let's talk about kicker.
Well, I'm going kicker because despite all the other problems with the Packers, I think that they had last year, I think that this is the hardest one to fix, right?
Yep.
It's so hard to get, because you can go out and trade for a corner, and that helps your cornerback room a lot. You can go trade for Josh Sweat, and that probably fixes your edge depth problem and your early season edge starter problem. Offensive line, hard to fix, but you got a lot of options. We don't have a lot of options at kicker, and it's really hard to fix. Jen says we're on kicker watch for yet another season. It's true. It's true. We've been on kicker watch other than this brief window after we got rid of Anders Carlson and we traded for Brandon McManus. It's been kicker watch like since before Mason Crosby was gone. Like it was bad his last year. It was painful, but it was bad. And it's such a hard position to be in when you have maybe questions about the offense and like, hey, maybe we're figuring out the offensive line, yada yada, and then it may not matter if you drive down to the 18-yard line and you need to kick a field goal and you probably aren't going to make it. Like, what was this all for? And I know everybody's excited about Trace Mack, and I hope he pans out. Obviously, anytime you trade up to go draft a kicker, you hope it's going to pan out. It didn't look good so far this spring. He was the second best kicker on the roster. And this is not something you can just go draft and fix. And kickers turn it on and turn it off like all the time. Like just going out. I don't really understand why Gutekunst seems to have this idea that, if we just invest more draft capital into kicker, we'll finally solve kicker. That's not how you solve kicker. That's like true almost never. Almost never is it true that you just got to spend some more draft capital on kicker and then boom, kicker is solved.
Yeah.
It's
Trace
not a great
Mack
process.
Against history really is the training camp battle here. Trace Mack against history. Drafting kickers. A fascinating concept. Will it this time, guys? This time it'll work for us. This time it will. It will work, right?
Does it work for
That's
those
the training
people?
camp battle.
No.
Trace Mack versus history.
But it might work for us.
Yeah, exactly. A little Arrested Development. It's. I'm just This is the not fun answer. Like nobody wanted me to go here because we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to think about it. We just want it to work. And the fact of the matter is, it's unlikely to work. Bringing in a rookie kicker, historically speaking, unlikely to work. And success in college kicking doesn't really mean that much in terms of translating to the NFL. Yeah.
Tool for this says Lucas Haversick is just chilling while he might be the answer. Jake, where are you at on Haversick? Because I have just always been a little confused why the Packers are so hesitant to go with Haversick.
Well, I think the Giants game didn't help things once he was kind of, we had that big kick against Arizona, which I was in person to see. That was sick. Love that. But that New York Giants game was kind of souring, I think, for them. It was kind of like, maybe he doesn't, it was cool that he made that kick indoors, but, you get out in the elements where we're playing most of our games. Maybe
they've never had a good process for addressing kicker.
Yeah. It should be one that's almost perpetual in nature until you get a dude at kicker.
Ron says Haversick struggles with extra points. So here's what we've seen from him. He's got a
that could be an Orzek problem.
He's got a career extra point percentage of 83.9. And it's a small sample size. We're talking 22, I think, attempts in 2023. Of those, he made 19. So he missed 3. That was in 2023. And then 2025, he attempted 9. He made 7. So there were 2 misses. They both came in that Giants game. He went 1 of 3 in that Giants game. The rest of the season for Green Bay, he attempted 6 extra points, and he made all 6. So very small sample size. Again, you're looking at 2023 would be the other year, and that season, so he missed 3, and 2 of those 3 came. Oh my gosh, is this Jake?
Hi.
2 of those 3 came in Week 17 against the New York Giants.
Wait. Week 17
of the 2023 season.
Okay.
So he has a career 5 missed extra points. 4 of those 5 have come against the New York Giants in 2 games. And then his other missed kick came in a game where he had 5 extra points attempted against the Cardinals, and he made 4 of them.
Okay.
I wish that he had a game against the Jets. On the road against the Jets. Like, could we find out, is it just MetLife Stadium? That's what I want to know.
I might have something for that, actually.
Okay.
Week 2. Week 2, my friends.
Listen, Trace
We
Mack,
can find out.
you did a great job in week 1. We are benching you, but it's not because of you. It's because
No.
of science.
No.
It's for
He might
science.
listen. He might pop up on the injury report. I pulled my calf. I can't play at
Oh, there you
MetLife.
go.
Playing
There you
chess,
go.
but also
There you go.
playing chess, not checkers, as well. Trace Mack saying, "I'm not going on that field. That abomination of a field. Let the backup kick, and then you can
Yeah,
do it in
once
the name
they-
of science and injury." So
Ron says he's clearly betting on the Giants. Pulling a Malik Beasley, eh?
interesting.
12 for the says it's becoming a weird trend where kickers are able to nail longer kicks, but anything less than 50, it's hit or miss.
This makes perfect sense. This is like golf. Everybody's chasing distance now with the driver, and thinking, "Hey, if I'm way down there, don't matter where I spray it around, I'm close enough to the hole where it matters." That's what these kickers are doing. They're chasing distance, sacrificing accuracy for it.
You're so right. It is exactly
It's
like
100% what they're doing right now. Everybody's
took
chasing
kicker
Cam
here.
Little. So, not a lot
NASCAR
of great,
driver.
not a lot of great options on the board here now for me.
This is true.
My
What were you
board
hoping
is
I was going to take? You seemed so surprised I took kicker. What were you thinking I was going to take? You could just
well.
take
You
that.
made it very clear that you did not take nose tackle for one. I thought
I felt that was
receiver
deserving
might.
of being its own conversation.
Yeah, I thought receiver might come into play. The back end of that kind of who's going to make
Receiver
the team.
4. Yeah,
Yeah,
4 or 5.
which is where I think I'm gonna go. Because again, edge two.
Iowa
edge
Joe with the
three.
most disgusting comment I've ever seen from him. I'm not even going to dignify that one.
Really, it's McCord versus drones, but
How about it's
maybe they could
McCord-
combine into one player. Yeah, I'm gonna go receiver 4. I think there's just a lot. I know people are throwing out Nair from Nebraska. I just feel like this is just something we like doing with Nebraska receivers, apparently. It's their time. And it just never is their time. So it's going to be between Savion, between Bo Melton, and, of course, 2026 undrafted free agent, Florida Gator Alan Lazard in J. Michael Sturdivant.
Florida Gator Lizard.
Yeah. Florida Lazard.
He's a gator and a lizard.
He's a Gator, yes. And
Gator
so,
Lizard.
yeah, after those 3, right, where is everybody playing? Where are you slotting guys? Like, Savion's probably the Z, the field stretching Z with kind of what Watson does. And I think maybe Sturdivant steps into more of what Golden would do, perhaps, or at least be the sacrificial version of an X receiver. And then you go to Jaden Reed, who's the backup there, Bo Melton. So there are kind of clearly defined roles. To me, the most interesting part of this wide receiver 4 battle is who can adapt themselves to another role.
Mm-hmm.
Who can
as
who can find the ability to play in multiple different spots on the offense
Who
if
can
called
be
upon.
multiple?
And so I
Who
think,
can return punts?
yeah, that might come down to it
Can
as
field
well.
the catch without dropping it like a dunce.
Yeah,
Isaiah
and so there is a lot of that.
Sturdivant King.
Yeah, so that's where I'm going to go with my with the 8th overall selection here. I think it's a fascinating one just to see how that kind of shakes out.
I think maybe why this might rank a little higher than where we drafted it here would be that Watson and Reed haven't been able to stay on the field consistently.
And Golden missed some games last year too.
And once you
So.
get past the big 3, it's a lot thinner than what we're used to it being. We've kind of lived in this little luxury bubble the last 2 years where you can miss 2 receivers and not really feel the pinch that much because we have so many. And I think by the time you get to wide receiver 4 and you're looking at Savion Williams and saying, or Williams? Yeah, Williams. I don't know why that sounded wrong coming out of my mouth. Savion Williams, when you're looking at Savion and going like, okay, man, from a physical attribute standpoint, we kind of need you to be the guy to step in and fill in this role because this guy got abducted by aliens for this week. I like saying that because I don't like speaking injuries into existence. So we say abducted by aliens.
I like it.
Like what can Sky Moore do? Not much. It's Bo Melton, it's Savion Williams, and then we really like J. Michael Sturdivant. But like asking any of those three guys to fill in for, say, Jaden Reed, that's a tough ask. It really is. I think Reed is one of the harder guys on the roster to replace.
Yeah.
Who would be your pick to pinch hit for Reed in the slot? Let's say week 1, Reed can't go. He slips on a banana peel the night before the game.
I mean, if they're treating slot as a position that's going to get vertical looks, it's going to be Bo for me, I think. As somebody who I think stays on the landmark with the spacing, can do the right stuff from there. It's probably where I'd lean. But there is another option, right? Could have Savion on the boundary with Watson and feed Golden just easy ones after easy ones over the middle of the field. So
Whoever said Reed is underappreciated by fans at large. I think that's true. I think that Reed tends to have a lot of kind of in-your-face, boneheaded plays that are frustrating, and I think the fan base gives him some grief because of that. And I think that a lot of his catches kind of feel routine because they're so in rhythm, and I think that we don't give him the credit for like just getting in position in time to just make it feel boring when he catches passes. And so then his mistakes do stick out in your mind.
Yes, like the drop against the Bears, which hurts. It's a bad one.
It's the worst play of his career.
It's a bad one. It's a bad one.
Jen says Reed's drops are always at the worst time. It's true.
It does. It does feel like, heightened.
Does it feel a little bit like
heightened stakes create the drops, which is just not a great sign. But
does it feel a little bit like the Packers got rid of Wicks because they're like, listen, we can only have one guy making boneheaded drops at the worst time right now.
Perhaps
like, we're gonna need to get some heart medication at this rate.
Yeah,
dealing with both of you at once.
I don't remember when we had this conversation. Maybe it was last off season in the summer, where we're like trying to figure out like who are you gonna pay of the 4. And I don't remember where we landed on this. I feel like it was mentioned by one of us where it was like I feel like it's easier to replicate what Dobbs and Wicks bring than it is Reed and Watson. I know that was said
That's
somewhere.
certainly true of
I
Watson.
don't know where that would be. I don't know what episode that's on. But I remember that being a part of the conversation, and clearly Green Bay thought so as well.
I mean, Watson was always going to get paid because there just aren't guys his side with that speed in the NFL.
Yeah, right.
They all get paid.
And now that he has turned that speed into actionable wins downfield, because not everything about being a good vertical receiver is just your speed.
No.
There are other parts of the game that you have to get better at to uncover downfield. And Watson got better at those things.
Like it or hate it, down the stretch, those last 8 or 10 games of the year where he was active, he was a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. You don't have to like it, but it's true. I'm gonna go blocking tight end here next. And I think this is maybe a significant problem for the Packers. Look, they think Tucker Kraft is going to be ready to go. Tucker Kraft thinks he's going to be ready to go. But if you have to take Tucker Kraft off the field, either for a game or for a drive, because he's still trying to work his way back, whatever, you need somebody else you can put out there who can block. And I just don't have a lot of confidence in this group. You know, you're probably looking at Josh Wiley and Messiah Swinson here.
Yeah.
You know, what can Luke Lahey bring you at this point in his career? How healthy is he?
I don't know.
He's a little bit. Our tight ends on the whole are kind of on the big side. Obviously, the smallest guy would be R.J. Maryland, who we think is probably going to end up being a wide receiver. But the second smallest tight end tight end that we have, Jake, do you know his name? Not counting R.J. Maryland, who's the smallest tight end on the roster.
Not counting R.J. Maryland.
Not counting R.J. Maryland.
I don't know. I mean, it's
so.
Let's see: Wiley, Musgrave, Dabney, Messiah Swinson, Maryland,
And Lahey. And Kraft.
Yeah. Seconds. This.
So I'll give you a hint. The smallest is Drake Dabney. There's a guy who has a couple pounds on him, but they're the same height.
Is Maryland? It's not Maryland?
No, we're excluding Maryland because he's not a tight end.
Oh, so then it must.
Maryland is 6 foot.
Is it actually
236
Lahey?
pounds.
Is it Lahey?
No.
Thank
Lahey
goodness.
is bigger than this guy.
Thank goodness.
It's Tucker Kraft.
Huh.
Tucker Kraft is only 6'5". Every other tight end we have on the roster is 6'6" or 6'7".
Wow. Interesting.
Tucker is 6'5", 259 pounds, according to the Packers. Drake Dabney is 6'5", 246. He's a skinnier dude. Everybody else is 6'6" or taller. So Josh Wiley and Messiah Swinson are both 6'7". Luke Musgrave is 6'6", as is Luke Lahey.
Wow.
Isn't that surprising that Tucker Kraft is...
I guess in terms of height, maybe not
height
as
for
much
shortest.
because he played running back, or he entered South Dakota State as a running back.
I think the lack of height kind of plays to his advantage a little bit.
Oh, for sure. He's
got-
not a string bean who can't
he's got
turn
a-
like some of these other guys.
He's got a nice center of gravity.
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
he's
And
hard
that's
to
why he
bring
played
down.
running back.
I think-
Yeah, that's why he played running back.
I think the running back experience and the height play to his advantage.
Yeah, and the fact that he's probably nuts a little bit, which you kind of have to be a little bit.
Is that Luke Musgrave's biggest problem among all of his problems? Is that Musgrave is just too nice? Like he's not.
No.
crazy at all?
That's not the biggest problem. He turns like a Mack truck. That's a problem. That would be a problem.
I saw some
Turns
clips.
like a Mack truck, doesn't play like a Mack truck. Maybe there is something to that. Yeah.
I saw some clips coming across my timeline of Tight End University, which I've decided is just the world's biggest frat party. I don't think they do
kinda
anything real
sick.
there.
Kind of sick. They're doing
and,
less than the Pass Rush Summit for sure. For sure. Where do you think? Put in the comments. Where do you think the most knowledge is getting shared? Tight End U or the Pass Rush Summit? Let us know. Let us know in the comments for the audio listeners as well. Drop a review for the show and also comment that. Please and thank you.
What do you think is a higher number? Our average star rating on Apple Podcasts or the average IQ at Tight End University?
You should have said the ACT average ACT score at Tight End University. That's what you should have said.
All right,
That's what you should
we'll
have
change
said.
that. Here, hold on. We'll pause for a second, and you ask the question, and then we can post it as a short on YouTube. Ready? Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know if I want to take heat from the tight end folks out there. I think I said what I said. I don't know if I want to say it again. Listen to all the tight ends out there.
Will you?
To all the tight ends out there.
Bird.
It's all the tight ends out there. It doesn't matter. Honestly, you know what? Doesn't matter what you did at the ACT. You're the NFL, and you would break me in half. So that's fine. You know, don't want to do any Oklahoma drills. I like my organs inside of my body, all of that good stuff. I'm fine. I'm good.
Are you a meathead? Do you want to get paid a lot of money? The NFL might be for you. Try tight end.
Sure, just be a psycho at tight end, and if you're enough of a psycho with good technique as a blocker, like you will make it.
Didn't you just like, as a psycho, just go bully the head coach into putting you on the field at tight end?
Potentially,
what's he gonna do if Tucker Kraft comes up to him and is all like, "I'm crazy, man"? Like LaFleur's not gonna let him go out in the field. Like LaFleur's gonna get freaked out and go, "Okay, go freak out the other team, man.
Yeah,
just don't draw any penalties and we're good."
Yeah. Yeah, Musgrave. 12 versus Musgrave would be the guy outside the frat party wanting to be invited. Cue the Jamal Adams video of the key card not working to enter the facility. That's Musgrave.
Do you want to, Jake? You want to know exactly why Luke Musgrave could never, ever, ever succeed in the NFL as a tight end? Do you want to know the real reason why?
No.
This is why. Look at that guy. That's not a tight end. That is not
honestly,
a tight end.
Okay. He did this. I don't remember if he did it in college. Yes. I don't remember if he did this in college or not as well. But like this 100% screams Scandinavian downhill skier to me. Like just 100%. Scandinavian downhill skiing Olympian. Like it fits. It really does. Or maybe
lest you think that I just cherry picked a really unfortunate photo of him, just go to Google Images and search Luke Musgrave. I dare you to find a photo where he looks more like a tight end. Look, here's the next photo that came up.
I like the first one better.
This is not a tight end, man.
It's a big receiver. Those guys are okay. Maybe he plays a little big slot. I don't know.
He's really not a receiver, though. That's the thing. Because he can't turn.
He's a vertical slot receiver. Which, those
guys What do you think would happen if
those guys
Tucker Kraft accidentally sat on Luke Musgrave? What would happen?
Be kind of like, oh, excuse me, sir. You're sitting on me. Can you please get off, please?
Yeah, it is funny when you see the two guys side by side. Because it's kind of unbelievable. Like, all right, I guess they kind of technically
it looks like a frat house. But they really because are the same one position. Of them, yeah, and Kraft doesn't. Yeah, things that Kraft says is the difference.
Kraft said he envisions burning down opponents' childhood homes.
Yes,
wow,
which is a little bit much, dark. But
that's a little dark.
Yeah. I mean, I can't take credit for the comparison. He has skied. He was an alpine skier. So unfortunately I can't take credit for it. Musgrave can because he did it. But all right, is that the end of our draft, or do I have one more pick?
It can be over if you're done with it. Like we didn't really talk about nose tackle.
I was just gonna briefly, yeah.
We don't have to draft nose tackle, but
I drafted. To me, Mr. Irrelevant is nose tackle.
So to me, there's 5 guys in the mix here.
Yeah.
It's Stackhouse, John Ford, Brinson, and then McClellan and Hargrave.
Yep. I think McClellan, Hargrave, Stackhouse feels like where I'm at the moment. I think Brinson's kind of more rotational, going to be lining up multiple spots. But Stackhouse is I think, built for the nose tackle position. But it does feel like a 3-horse race to like kind of, all right, how are the snaps going to be divvied up? And can all these guys move around the line? And yeah, it's going to be important.
Do you think I'm off in expecting McClellan to be the week 1 starter at nose? Like when you need to go out and,
we have four down front or
short
five?
yardage. Sorry, what?
Okay. Short yardage, yeah, probably. It'd probably be him and Hargrave out there, honestly. I don't know if Wyatt will be out there. If they're able to sub in for short yardage. Like maybe because of the upfield penetration
what if you're
skills
just going
of
with
Wyatt, but
5-man front, though?
He'll probably start a 5-man front, I would imagine, yeah. Be flanked by Wyatt and Hargrave.
I mean, this is why they drafted him, right? He was kind of the only guy in this class, certainly the last remaining guy, that the Packers felt could do this. Like they wanted this type of guy who could come in year 1, contribute right away. Like the Packers think he's ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's going to be interesting to compare him to some others who were taken on day 3. So, but
Cool for this said Musgrave would get locked down by Terrion Arnold when he plays the Lions, and Arnold isn't even on the Lions anymore.
True.
All right, so I feel like this was a good look at the remaining position battles. I do think I feel better. I feel a lot better than I previously did. My biggest concern is certainly depth. I think that a year ago, we were really concerned that there were not enough bodies in the cornerback room and not enough bodies in the defensive tackle room, and that you were in a lot of trouble if guys were going to start missing time. And then, sure, the Packers had unreasonably bad luck in how many of their superstars got hurt and missed time. You're missing Wyatt and Parsons and Kraft and Jenkins and Tom and who else? We were missing Watson for a stretch. We were missing Reed for a stretch. Who else do we miss? Who's a huge deal? Somebody else was a big deal who missed. I forget. Oh, we lost. We were digging deep into defensive tackle. We had to keep pulling out new guys week after week because guys would come in and get hurt.
Guys kept dropping. Yeah. Yeah.
Tulfa says Cooper. We missed Cooper. Oh, Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper did get hurt in the Bear game, which is unfortunate.
So, yes, there was some...
His best game.
And Jordan Love missed time, too.
Yes. This is true.
So,
Golden missed time.
Evan Williams. There were a lot of injuries.
Yep.
But, that's kind of always true about the Packers.
Yep. And
we're still not healthy from last year. We're not at 100% right now. We're still missing Zach Tom. We're still missing Devontae Wyatt. We're going to miss Micah Parsons for a long time. We're going to miss some of our tight ends for a long time. And so, you're asking me to believe that, hey, our starters are good enough. Granted, we don't have any backups behind them at most positions. But we'll be fine because our starters are probably good enough.
Yeah.
And don't worry, we just won't get any injuries. This is where you lose.
Not to worry. Yeah. It's fair. Well, we don't have to rehash that.
All right,
I don't think our corners could cover him, to be honest.
For the audio crowd, Jake is reacting to a comment reminding us of Nick Neiman covering Colston Loveland. Is his name Nick Neiman? Why does that sound wrong? Some of the names I've been saying
it's Niemann, I believe. I think it's still Neiman, but it's a different spelling. Neiman. Yeah.
Well, listen, for the audio crowd, this was our position group breakdown. If you want to hear some more nonsense in the third half of the show, we're going to be here for a few more minutes, but you want to catch that, got to go over to YouTube, listen to the live show. We love you. We'll see you. Have a good one. All right, third half of the show starting right now.
Yep.
I have 19 minutes left, Jake.
All right, I've brought a question, and I don't think it'll take 19 minutes, but
which means
it's thought-provoking. Yes, it's thought
Is this a
provoking.
listener question?
I want the
Listener
chat. I want the audio listeners. I want everybody to chime in on this one. You can
it's a
think
Jake
about
question
it.
for us.
You can think about it. This was something I've been thinking about because I recently went through the NFL playoff predictor over the weekend. Picked every game.
Okay.
Was interesting. Don't know if I loved how it went, but yeah. So I did that. But here's the question, all right?
Okay.
For everybody. It is, how many teams
Oh gosh.
in 2026 do you think can actually win the Super Bowl? How many teams truly have a chance to hoist a Lombardi at the end of the season? You can bring a number. If you'd rather start with a number, that's fine. Be awesome, though, for both the watchers right now on YouTube and the listeners to put together their non-sassy answers, because, of course, I'm not surprised. I'm a little surprised Jen put one. I'm not surprised that Iowa Joe would say one. But no, I need like an actual answer to this, preferably. But I get it. Cheeky answer there with one. But how many teams going into the season have a shot? A true shot.
Jen says about 6 to 8, which I think is absolutely the correct range.
But I want to know who they are. Preferably.
Do you want my 6 real quick?
Preferably, I want to know who they are. Yeah.
I think I have 6. I think
Okay.
obviously the Rams, and if they're not your heavy favorite for number 1, I really want to hear the case for why not.
Stafford's back.
I would say the Ravens and Seahawks are probably in the next tier. And maybe
Ravens with new coach. We feel okay about that. We feel about okay considering who the coaches are. Is that why? Maybe more so.
I think the biggest thing is, to me, the Ravens' collapse last year and the fact that they were bad was really inexplicable. Like, you could point to things that weren't working, but the fact that everything fell apart to the degree that it did just didn't make any sense. Like, this team is really due for some positive regression. I do really like their roster. I think they had a really good draft. I would put them. I think that the Seahawks probably deserve the respect of being probably in about the same tier as the Rams. And then for me, tier 2 is probably just the Ravens and the Chiefs, I think.
Okay.
Do you think there's another team that deserves to be in one of those top 2 tiers?
I didn't really separate them into tiers. I just put a team list together, really.
Okay. Well, I have those 4, and then I would still not count out the Chiefs. I think the Niners,
the trickiest one for me.
I think there's this this cluster of like Chiefs, Niners, Texans that are.
I have Houston. Yep.
That are certainly close.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's. Yeah.
Jen is throwing in the Bills and the Broncos. I'm not even close on the Bills. I think I'd be closer to the Bills not making the playoffs than I would be Bills being Super Bowl contenders.
My only problem with that is I don't think they have any competition in their division this year.
They have competition in their division.
I don't think
Buffalo.
so.
Yeah, no, Buffalo is going to beat their butts week in, week out.
Yeah. But I don't think New England's going to be very good this year, and the other two teams aren't even worth a sniff.
One thing I think that we're fighting against here is that the whole NFL was just atrocious last year, and I think that is affecting how I'm viewing all these teams again heading into this year. Is like, oh man, well that team sucked last year, and like, can the whole league suck 2 years in a row? not really. Like some of these teams are going to really bounce back. I think the Patriots roster is decent enough to really have them in the mix for the AFC. Like, who else are you scared of in the AFC? Like, it's the Chiefs.
I don't think it's really
Ravens.
I don't think it's really being scared of necessarily. I just don't think they're on the level of even like Cincinnati this year, New England. I think there are just way too many problems, and it starts with again a problem that I think is potentially just going to be the problem, and why I'm leaving Green Bay off my list, even though nobody else has in the comments so far. It's the offensive line. Period. AJ Brown, everybody thinks it's going to be seamless because, on paper it looks seamless. I don't know. His knee could be shot. All of that.
In my,
I think their defense overperformed in the volatility type of thing, and with how they were generating turnovers and all of that. It felt very Chicago-esque. I think with just maybe a little bit better results in the pressure packages, and that's kind of why I'm like more out on them this year. But I have the three. I have the three out west in the NFC.
Yeah,
as legitimate.
Rams,
for sure.
Seahawks, Niners.
Yeah. I think the West. Honestly, I think the West Coast has at least half my teams that I think can win it.
So you're saying those three and the Broncos?
Yep.
Is there one more?
There
for
is
you on the West.
There is.
Oh, Chargers.
Yeah. I think they can definitely do it. So
yeah, I think it's odd. Like, and if you look at how the NFL media landscape, which is full of a bunch of idiots, but if you look at the way that they talk about this playoff picture, they all leave the Chargers out and include the Bills, which I think is completely backwards and idiotic. I don't think the Bills are going to make the playoffs. I think the Chargers are probably going to be playing in the AFC Championship game.
Spoiler, when I went through the entire picks, they were in my AFC Championship game. Yeah. I think the Chargers and the Niners to me are in the same boat of like, if everybody's like decently healthy enough, they're good enough, period. They just simply are. I think for the Chargers, it's Alton Slater back. You got Biotish. Mike McDaniel's your OC. I expect Ladd to have a JSN type of year. I think he's going to be an offensive player of the year conversation. And I think defensively they added Messidor in the draft. Like, I just feel like if they're, and I think this way about some other teams as well, if you're like decent enough on defense, middle of the road to flash some flashy top 10 weeks, you can be good enough with a great offense. The Chargers probably fall under that. I think that the Ravens fall under that as well. I think it might take some time for some of these guys outside of Kyle Hamilton to be fully ready to handle everything that Minter's going to put on their plate. But Lamar's won MVP the last two times they've changed offensive coordinators. So to me, that's probably going to be good enough for them. Denver. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your whole list. I was just, I started getting on a roll. But the Chargers, I think the Chargers, I think they're just getting slept on for some reason. I don't know if everybody wants the Chiefs back in the mix so bad or feels like they have to keep the Jaguars and the Patriots in the playoffs, which I don't think you have to when you go through your picks. And they're just kind of leaving them out. And as much as I don't love them, it's hard to keep Harbaugh down, man. Especially with how talented they are on offense. Yeah. It just is that way. And so like they got Thule, Mack back, like again, Khalil Mack, he's hanging on for sure, but like he can do enough for you. And so yeah, I think it's a good enough team. Are they on the Rams level? No, they are not. Are they on the Seahawks level? Probably not. Seattle's going to be an interesting case of how much losing the coordinator really puts their offense, in a bind, and without Walker, right? JSN's doing a lot of heavy lifting in terms of the personnel. So, But okay, I didn't mean to interrupt. But do you have 6 teams? Did you say, like, for sure 6? Do you think you have a couple others?
I think I have 8 total. But
Okay.
part of the reason I'm at 8 is because it
it's more wide
skews
open.
very heavily to the AFC, just in terms of like the parity over there.
Yep.
And I didn't really feel good about having it just be a 2-horse race in the NFC. So I am throwing the Niners in the mix there in the NFC. I think it's a 3-team race, all in the NFC West. I don't think the other 3 divisions are going to really factor at all.
Yeah.
I would probably expect either the Vikings, Lions, or Buccaneers, with like maybe an outside shot at the Commanders.
Sure.
To be, if there is a surprise team in the NFC to come in and make things stressful, I think it's going to come from that group of 4 teams. But Rams, Seahawks, Niners, I think are the only legitimate NFC teams this year.
Yeah.
For me in the AFC, it's the Ravens and the Chargers separating themselves from Broncos, Texans, Patriots. I don't really think there's another team that I would want to throw in that mix.
Yeah.
And I do think that Broncos, Texans, Niners, Patriots, I kind of feel like their ceiling is AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
But like somebody's got to play in the AFC Championship game
Yeah, it's true.
against
It's true.
probably the Chargers.
Yeah. Okay. I like it.
I want to talk about the Bengals here because you keep bringing up the Bengals.
Yep.
And I'm not really sure why you're in on them because they have absolutely an atrocious offensive line. And like they were really aggressive this offseason finally in addressing defense, which has been really bad for them. I don't really like what they did. Like the one really good move they made was getting Dexter Lawrence, which I think is going to age poorly for them down the road. But like obviously this is the year when you would expect to get the biggest payoff for going out and getting him. I just think that like the long-term return on value probably isn't there. But so they add Dexter Lawrence, Jonathan Allen, Boye Mafe, Brian Cook, Kyle Duggar. You think this takes them from disaster defense like a lot higher than mediocre defense? I don't think it does. Like,
No, but I think that might be all they need. Mediocre might be all you need.
They don't have a run game. They don't have an offensive line. They are living
not
on a wing and a prayer that Joe
off,
Burrow is going to stay alive.
We're not.
Which
I'm not.
Historically,
I
he
will
hasn't.
not. I will not be taking any Chase Brown slander on this podcast ever.
I like Chase Brown, Illinois legend, as much as the next guy. But they don't have an offensive line.
He's unfortunately been
A good
just
running
as
back
good
does not-
as Taylor in the metrics running the football.
A good running back
So-
does not a run game make. You need an offensive line. They don't
Potentially.
have one.
Bijan's been doing
They
it
don't
long
have
enough.
one.
They're bringing back every
Bijan
starter
has
for the
a
first
much
time.
better offensive line than the Bengals do.
I don't know.
Significantly better.
I don't
It's
know.
not good,
Falcons
and it's
don't have
still
a center.
significantly better.
Falcons don't have a right tackle. Falcons have an aging left
The
tackle.
Bengals don't have any offensive linemen.
They've brought back their entire unit from last year.
It was
which included
the-
young players.
generously, it was like the 29th best. I think PFF ranked them as the 28th best offensive line in the league last year.
Well, then we must listen to that. We certainly must.
It was atrocious. You don't have to take my
we
word
just
for
disagree.
it. You know
We just have to
who else said
disagree.
that it was the most obvious issue with the team? Jamar
Who's that?
Chase.
Awesome. Love that from him. Good for
So
him.
we're hoping that
so impressed.
Joe Burrow, who's finished a season like once in his career,
I mean, if you're hoping the
gonna
Niners and
finish
Chargers,
again
if you're hoping the
behind
Niners
this
and
horrific
Chargers
offensive line.
are on your list for teams who can't make it through a full season, then I mean, gotta be both. Gotta be all or neither then, because they both do the same thing. They both do the same thing. They both have entire teams missing by end of year. So if we're including the Chargers and Niners, we're including healthy Chargers and Niners. Because if they lose Slater and Alt again, they're not going to be there. Right? Like, they're not going to be there. Period. So it's either like, if Burrow can't get through a full season, totally fine. But Slater can't get through a full season. Pretty much. And so if he's done, right, Alt's playing left tackle, then they got revolving doors at right tackle. Kind of the same thing. Niners, they continue to lose everybody every year. Right? The substation is a thing for a reason. So if we're including the injuries involved in this, then if you're including Burrow in this, then you must include the Chargers and Niners with the injury tag on there as well. Period. You have to.
The last time the Bengals finished better than third in their division was 2022. I'm picking them to finish third in their division again this year.
Oh man. You just can't quit those guys in the Steel City, can you? I hate to be the bearer of bad news about Pittsburgh. It can't even be more over. It might be so over they lose more games than the Browns. It might be so over.
I don't know, man.
It might
Browns are going hard for that number 1 overall pick.
I don't think they're gonna have to move up. Especially if you think about this, right? We both have Rams, Seahawks, Niners in the teams that can win the Super Bowl. One team has to play them 6 times. They're probably not winning any of those games, unfortunately for them. That's probably your number 1 overall pick.
This is true.
Cleveland might not have a chance at it, unfortunately, because they get to play Pittsburgh. Because they get to play Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, the Jets and Dolphins play each other. Overall. Yeah, but the Dolphins and Jets have to play each other. And so if they both add a win to their total there, and I think they're playing a pretty mid Patriots team each twice, so they probably can pick them off. That's the only thing. Arizona would love to petition to change divisions. They would love to. They are begging the NFL, like, hey, just put somebody else here, please. Put Atlanta here. Let us go compete in the South. Like, do something. I beg you. Help me. Help me.
You know who the Dolphins wide receiver 1 is right now? Do you know?
I mean, it's probably Dulcich, who's a tight end. Okay, might be Achan. Could be Achan.
I said wide receiver. I didn't say receiver. Actually, maybe I did say receiver. Who's the number 1 wide receiver?
Do you have the depth chart pulled up?
I do.
I mean, it's probably not any of the rookies. They're probably listing somebody.
It's Malik Washington.
Oh my, yes.
Last year,
King from Virginia.
Had a career high,
Virginia,
317 yards. Wide receiver 1 right now.
You know, I just feel bad that they're setting up Malik Willis to fail down there. It's a tough scene. You know, as much as we would have not liked it,
yeah,
man, Malik Willis in Arizona, you got some folks to throw to, my guy. You have people to throw to in Arizona, at the very least. Yeah, not great, not great.
Remind me, had they already gotten rid of Waddle by the time he picked Miami? Like, did he know fully what he was walking into? I can't remember when they got rid of. Also, off the top of my head, where the heck did Jalen Waddle even go?
Denver.
Which team does he play for? Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
I'm looking at the timeline.
Maybe I should bump Denver up even more. They finally have wide receiver.
I think Denver.
For the first time in like
Denver's
my life.
Denver's looking.
I do like Denver. I mean, I like their chances. I mean, I don't like them.
They did. They traded Waddle 6 days after Willis signed. That's tough.
That is malpractice.
I feel like they probably told him they were most likely moving Waddle.
Why would they tell him?
I mean,
why?
Just good faith. We're all coming down to South Beach from Green Bay. Just a little good faith, you know. It might be tough for you down here, but you know, you're our guy. I promise.
I guess they already had John Sullivan by that point.
Scouts honor. We got you. We've got you. No, I like the lists.
Joe said, "How about this controversial topic? Thoughts on Washington D.C. getting the draft?" I love it. I love D.C.
I think it's a really cool place to get the draft.
I want to. Are they
That's all
gonna?
I-
They're gonna
that's
have
all
to
I've got.
host it in the National Mall, right?
Yeah.
I might go.
Yeah. I'm
no,
thinking
I'm
about
not
it.
gonna, because the
Thinking about it.
here's the thing. Having gone to the draft twice, it sounds like so much fun, and like the destinations are so cool. And then when you're there, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot. I have to stand here for 23 hours.
It's like Nashville on a Saturday night almost, basically. We're like, this, you know what, that sounds good. Let's go to Broadway. Let's, that sounds good. And then by like, you're sitting there, the third round begins, and you're like, I don't know, man.
I forgot. Here's what we actually want to do. Because we already had this conversation. You and I, me and Chris, we need to go to DC, and like we'll walk around the draft, and then go back to an Airbnb or something
for sure
during the actual draft, and like we can live stream ourselves and have snacks and whatever, and not be standing in the crowd. That's what we need.
That's the move. Yes, draft during the day.
Yeah.
That's 100% the move.
Let's actually do it. Like, not talk about it.
DC would be. DC is a great place to host it.
Yeah.
There's just so much like space perfected for it. Truly. Okay. So
it's kind of crazy they haven't been there already. I think it's a great selection.
It is.
All right, so we have like seriously 2.5 minutes
okay,
left
so you had just 3 NFC teams.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know,
maybe
like
4 AFC teams, 5.
I had
5 AFC teams?
I had 5. Yeah, I had Ravens, Chargers, Broncos, Texans, Patriots. I've been waffling on this.
Okay.
I probably should have Broncos number 1 in the AFC. It should be Broncos, Chargers, Ravens, Texans, Patriots. I think that's roughly the correct-ish order.
Yeah.
For the AFC.
Yeah, I think keep that list because I think it'd be good to come back to it in early September and see if anything has changed going into the season. I think we were the only 2 of the people who commented that don't have Green Bay in there.
I wouldn't have, no.
Yeah, Tool for this has 4 to 5. It's got Packers, Rams, Chiefs, Broncos, Ravens. Ron Sandville chimed in.
Let me say this with my remaining time.
Okay.
It's still really early in the year. Okay?
For sure.
Stuff could happen. At this point in the season a year ago, we hadn't traded for Micah yet.
Right.
Stuff could happen.
Yeah.
Some young guys could pop in training camp. We could start to feel more confident about depth. On paper, today, June 29th, 2026, this is a bad plan that Gutekunst has put together. Things could change. He can go out and make some moves. Some young guys that he has bet on could take the necessary steps that he thinks they will take, even though the evidence is not there to support it yet. Some of his bets could pan out, and some guys could get healthy who aren't healthy yet. Okay, it's early in the season. Right now, I think the Packers have a very long road ahead of them, and I think that making the playoffs is going to be harder than they think. It's not an easy schedule. And I think that the roster construction is a bad plan, and I think that the huge amount of coaching turnover and some of the decisions they made along the way, like freaking Luke Getsy at quarterback coach, are not good. And I have some serious problems with how Matt LaFleur has been running the team, and I certainly have serious problems with how Brian Gutekunst has evaluated roster problems the last couple of years and chosen to not address them. So far, as of June 29th, 2026, not enough has changed to make me think that they now have a workable plan in place.
Yeah.
There is plenty of time between now and when you are in trouble in the season to go out and make some moves or have some stuff that's in building start to work and gel together. It's a good thing the season doesn't start tomorrow, right?
For sure.
You gotta get through training camp, see how things shake out. We're gonna be here every week. You're gonna get our evolving thoughts as we go through training camp and the preseason games and the first few games of the season. We're going to be presented with a lot more information. The Packers do have more information than we have. With the information that we have, the decisions they have made aren't supported by the information that we have. Again, they have more information than we have. Last year, I was very correct about the specific problems I was pointing out with the roster that all ended up being a problem for the Packers last year. None of the issues I was pointing out last year didn't end up being huge problems for the Packers. And then you have some bad luck that comes along the way. Turns out the kicker that you thought was good enough before the season began, Brandon McManus, was a big problem all year. That was not a problem anybody foresaw coming. Yeah. You have huge injury issues that, like, we thought that there were some injury problems that you could see coming from a ways off. And, like, when we were talking about the Micah Parsons thing, I even said, I feel really uncomfortable putting this much capital on the line to go get one guy who could get hurt, and then you're just out all of that. Now, that's not me saying I wish we hadn't gotten Micah Parsons. I'm really glad we did. I like Micah Parsons. I'm glad he's here. I'm not second-guessing it. I'm pointing out there were a lot of calculated risks the Packers took along the way. And I kept saying last year, you're making too many calculated risks, and you don't have enough surefire options that you're leaning on, and you don't have enough backup plans and redundancies in place to weather the amount of risks you're taking. You're going to have to be extraordinarily lucky on the injury front to make it through the 2025 season. And then it turned out not only were they not extraordinarily lucky, they were pretty unlucky on the injury front.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
There you go. Rant over.
Yeah, I think the good news for the Packers, their schedule features the AFC East and the NFC South. I think every game's winnable there.
Let us not forget the trouble the NFC South has given us recently. The bad teams in the NFC South have given us.
I'm not too worried. I'm not going to be worried about that this early. I think that division is trash. So there's a reason none of them are even anywhere. They are not even within a LaCroix sampling of a fruit near my freaking list to win a Super Bowl. Okay, and everybody but the Bills.
The Bengals
elsewhere
for the Buccaneers, and you'd have the worst division in the NFL.
It's an interesting
Actually,
take.
it might still be the worst.
He's trying to rage bait. So the other part of the schedule, the thing that's not favorable is the non-divisional set opponents, right? We're playing our division, obviously, and then we're playing those two. The opponents that are the kind of one-offs, Houston, Dallas, and the Rams. Not ideal for this team. Not ideal. In our crossover and the Houston game's late in the year.
Mind you,
which
I think we can
Houston game. Yikes.
And really might beat the Rams on Thanksgiving Eve. In the regular season.
Very possible.
I would pick the Packers to win that game.
Sure.
Would I pick the Packers to beat the Panthers in the playoff? No. Would I pick them to beat the Bengals?
JJ's coming around on the Panthers, baby.
In the playoff.
JJ's coming around on the Panthers.
No, I'm listing the crappiest teams I can. Would I pick us to beat the Cardinals in the playoffs? No, I wouldn't.
We're going to lose a Carson Beck? No way. But yeah, so I think
Matt LaFleur and the Green Bay
Packers. The crossover games are interesting. But yeah, I mean, I just don't think they quite have the horses. Again, I think to your point about Micah, like even without him, I don't trust Goody to address pass rush well enough. He was better at it in free agency than he was in the draft. Period. No shots to LVN. It's just more of kind of finding good player, like, C+ to B players rather than finding your true A player. And they've kind of done that with a lot of the roster. And a lot of B players, it looks good on paper until some of the stars got to take over, right? And that's kind of how it is, right? You in the playoffs, some of these stars take over. You can't be bad. You can't be overly bad in places where some teams have been, right? But you have to have.
It might be along the offensive line,
right? And
corner.
We need to have floor raisers, yes, 100%. But you have to have ceiling raisers too. That's why they went and got Micah, because they went out and got Micah, as we've said many times, because of the one play in the postseason against Philly. Jalen Hurts has time, sits back in the pocket, bakes a perfect souffle, delivers a touchdown pass. Like that was it. That was it right there. That was enough. That was the final. That was the last straw. Period. So, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of why I think. Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to be held back. I don't think the division has a Super Bowl contender in it. I think it has one team who might ride a last place schedule to a really nice seeding in the NFC, only to get undone in the postseason by one of those teams out west. So,
pantsed, as it were.
Yeah, pretty much. I think if Seattle had to go into Detroit, good luck. Have fun with that. Or the Niners, or the Rams. So, yeah.
We're way over time, but I want to hit these last two comments real quick and just acknowledge them because they're good. Jen Wright said LaFleur Bowl when we were talking about Packers Cardinals.
Look, August 28th. Be there or be square.
I think we're all looking forward to that one. And then Iowa Joe with top tier rage bait. Did we ever cover Kyle McCord versus Tyrod Taylor? Sure, we did.
I'm gonna do this. Nobody has to cover when Kyle McCord is playing QB.
That's
got him.
Sure.
Got him.
Put Matt Orzech out in coverage.
Absolutely got him right there. You'd love to see it. But I for those who didn't, maybe in the comments didn't put their teams out there, think about it. Send us a list on Twitter and see how it evolves over the next few months and see where we're at. Because when we get to November, December, we kind of know. Usually, it's like one of these 3 to 5 at most is going to kind of cut it all down at the end.
If you're not following us on Twitter already, at Jake NFL Draft for Mr. Schyvinck and at JJ Lahey for myself, please give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We super appreciate it. Do check out PackerProject.com for all your latest Packers news and notes. We appreciate you for listening to us. Please subscribe to the Packer Project podcast everywhere. We'll see you next week here on Packers Derailed. Go, Pack, go.